From the dust a cocky voice begins to ask what he thought about her specialized explosives. The modest-looking girl with glasses scolds the other girl, wondering if she was an idiot. She continues, yelling at her for endangering his life. The girl with the sunglasses reassures her that her explosives didn't even have any gunpowder, they were as harmless as firecrackers. The bespectacled girl walks towards him slowly, apologizing for her little sister. She introduces herself as Hiyura Aki, telling him that he shouldn't be afraid, she had decided to never commit another crime, she's on his side. Tamito begins to calm down, amazed that there are people like her in Komori that are trying to reform. Maybe everyone isn't that bad after all. Her amused little sister chuckles, complimenting her for having such a way with words, reminding her that she put an entire row of motorcycles on fire just last week. Tamito makes run for it, the big sister once again scolding her little sister. The little sister once again throws an explosive, reminding him that he can't escape. Minori and Aki watch as the boy once again sprints like a madman, amazed and in disbelief of his skills. He continues running, grateful to have survived such a feat. As a new classmate joins in on the chase, a looming presence drives by. Sarah and Hinako head for the park to hopefully nab the slippery Tamito, but an annoyed Sarah objects to the idea, noting that he's a very dangerous guy and they would all be safer if he doesn't come to class. Hinako objects, replying that Ichimura is a good person, excusing his collection of weapons and equipment as a misunderstanding. A somber Hinako expresses her frustration, hating the fact that Ichimura didn't like their class and so he might never come back. Sarah starts to pry, asking her childhood friend why she cares so much about Tamito. The nervous girl answers that he helped her and that they're friends and there's more to it, right? She confesses that she also wants to take more picture of Ichimura, confusing her friend. She continues, confessing that her heart goes crazy whenever she sees his back, she wants to walk behind him, she can't get him out of her head. With her eyes on her she asks if what she feels is love. As the blushing Hinako burns red, she believes it to be the case. A regretful Sarah apologizes, realizing that she was getting in the way of their romance as her childhood friend shakes her head and buries her face in her hands. But Sarah begins to remind her that something like that could happen again. With a smile she tells her not to worry. Sarah settles, but expresses that she still distrusts him, so she will be monitoring his actions. Hinako takes out her knives, prepared to fight for the right to be the one to watch him take a bath and/or use the toilet. She quickly dismisses her insinuation, telling her that she doesn't have those kinds of hobbies. Still, if she determines that he's dangerous, she promises to bury him. But if she determines that he's safe, then she would lend her best friend a hand when the time comes. An elated Hinako jumps to hug her best friend, very thankful. She once again declares that Ichimura is a good person that won't do anything strange, she says it proudly and confidently. Sarah nods, it would be best if that were the case. Sarah excuses herself, going into the restroom while Hinako hears the voice of her classmate Gauda-kun. Realizing that Ichimura might be close, she starts following her classmate's voice, apologizing for leaving Sarah in a hurry. An exhausted Tamito finally finds a place to hide, relieved to finally escape the intimidating guy's crosshairs. As the boy looks up from the floor, he realizes that his tomorrow is uncertain. As the frustrated girl extends her arms up to strike the final blow, she is stopped by a familiar voice. An exhausted Hinako arrives just in time to pacify the intense situation. A frustrated Hinako is baffled. Why was everyone threatening Ichimura instead of just talking to him? Minori answers, saying that he just keeps running away. Hinako turns her attention to the girl, wondering if she used her bombs in their first encounter. The girl nods, of course. What was she thinking? What if her bombs blew him to pieces? The laid-back girl can only scratch her head, accepting responsibility. She turns to her childhood friend, reminding her that she swore she wouldn't do anything dangerous to him. The deadpan Sarah reasons that it was only fair, he was watching her pee. She moves on to Momoka, pleading for her not to do anything strange to him. An embarrassed Momoka can only apologize, telling her that his expression was just too much, she couldn't hold back. Finally she reaches the end of the line. She proclaims that Gouda is just too threatening in everything he does, so she pleads for him not to do anything at all. Finishing her lecture, she turns her attention back to Tamito, apologizing about their behavior, proclaiming that they're all good people. Good people, he repeats, his mind wandering back to memories from a few minutes ago. A stuttering Hinako asks, would he come back to school with them? His mind once again wanders to a dark memory of being shunned and shooed away from his previous school, being brought to tears by Hinako pleading for the opposite. He snaps himself back to reality, enraged. He's not an idiot. There's no way he can trust them. He's been fooled, swindled, and used. He's been fooled to deliver dubious packages, swindled into taking part in fundraising schemes, and used as a captive for kidnappers. Just like this. A frantic Hinako urgently rallies the group into a rescue mission. A lucid Momoka, however, reasons that they fled in a car and have already gone from their sights. Found them, Yasuo declares, revealing that they're near the intersection from a fast food restaurant they frequent. The reliable hacker explains that he found them analyzing the data to predict the general area they're going to, and then he borrowed some security cameras from the area to find them. Though it was impossible to catch up to them, they decide to move now because the hacker has another plan. The gang starts making their way to the location in a hurry, Yasuo hacking the traffic control system to activate some red lights that'll stop their retreat. Just as planned, they stop by the red light, one of the kidnappers finding it quite suspicious, but he was more annoyed than anything. The bound Tamito curses himself for his carelessness. He learned from the last time he got kidnapped 2 years ago that he shouldn't have gotten near the roadway. He turns his attention to his captors, speculating if they nabbed him for a ransom. An impatient goon suddenly moves closer to Tamito and "Oh yeah" makes it known that he wasn't snatched for a ransom.
Oh my God!
The man turns back to see what all the noise was about. His friend can only hold his sore bottom and repeat the same words over and over again. The man turns his attention outside, hearing the vehicle's door penetrated by an abominable limb belonging to a dangerous-looking girl. The man points outside, ordering the driver to step on it. As the driver stomps his feet to the pedal, a relieved Hinako is glad that he's fine, causing him to ask, why? Why did they went out of their way to save him? The nervous Hinako stutters and trips on her words, but with a proud voice she declares that it's because they have a very good class filled with good people. Though he had ran from criminals his whole life, it seems like this was a class of criminals he can't run away from. She reports that the students have returned and once again they have caused a bit of trouble on the streets again. The principal sips from a cup, unbothered as long as the students were fine. The lady clears her throat, a question on her mind. She chooses her words carefully, observing that Ichimura Tamito doesn't have the characteristics of a criminal. Though she didn't want to be rude, she suggests that maybe there was a mistake. Confidently the principal disagrees, telling her that she, herself has sniffed him out as a criminal. There's a demon sleeping deep within him. They must keep monitoring his growth in that class.